Hey guys, I just got back from Australia earlier this month and I'm excited to tell you all about it. I performed in Sydney for Mardi Gras and I have to say, wow, what an experience. My tour manager Tony and I flew over 16 hours from Los Angeles to Sydney and arrived on March 1st. Because Sydney is so many time zones ahead and because the trip is so long, we actually skipped a day, the 28th, which was my 27th birthday. Our first full day in Sydney started early with the photo shoot with Holden Trucks, a sponsor of the parade. Next, we did the Sydney Harbor Bridge climb. It took almost 2 hours to reach the very highest section of the bridge, but the 360-degree view of the harbor was breathtaking. It was well worth the climb. And of course, I used the opportunity to shamelessly plug my performance that Saturday. Next, we made a quick trip to the zoo where Tony and I got to pet and feed kangaroos. There was also this crazy, awesome bat-looking animal. However, to my disappointment, hugging koalas in South Wales has actually been made illegal, so I didn't get to hold one, but this is about as close as I got.
Come on, koala. We have a lot in common. We sleep a lot.
That evening, I made some new friends aboard a yacht in Sydney Harbor. There was great food, beautiful views of the harbor during sunset, beautiful Aussie men wearing very little, performing drag queens, and yeah, could we get another moment to really appreciate the sights of Sydney Harbor? Yes, so many sights to take in. Friday started early and I had a TV performance and interview followed by my first ever press conference. Then it was off to rehearsals. I spent the last few months corresponding with Luke, my new favorite Aussie, and also the guy that got me down here to play in the first place. A lot of work went into the show even before I met face-to-face with any of the people who were working with me on the other side of the planet. Now at rehearsal, I was seeing the space I would perform in for the very first time, as well as getting a chance to meet the dancers and choreographers. It was all a bit overwhelming. We began to run the performance. Mitchell, the choreographer, spent most of his time with me, showing me where I would be moving to on stage and for which counts.
I think this feels more natural to me. Yeah, that's what I keep doing and keep trying to correct myself, so I might as well do that.
No music?
No music.
Yeah.
But just tell me if I do anything wrong.
Yeah, I'll be
just
down
like
here, yeah.
have a blank stare until I do something wrong.
Okay. I'm going to check on my thing, but I will be
Okay.
As we started to go over the basic steps, I realized I may have overestimated my ability to digest all the stage plotting with the choreographed dancers around me, with fireballs in my face, all while trying to give the vocal performance of a lifetime. We worked for as long as they allowed us. When Saturday came, I was looking to sleep in as much as possible and conserve my energy, since I wouldn't take the stage until 4:30 a.m. that night, or the next morning.
Coming down, Steve!
Our final rehearsal began at 3 p.m. and we had a chance to run through the full performance twice. That evening was the parade. Tony and I had a blast hanging off the Holden truck and waving to all the people. Sometimes I feel a little silly just standing there waving like a princess going by on her motorcade. But the energy at Sydney was intoxicating that night, and I managed not to fall out of the truck. After the parade, I went back to my hotel and managed to sleep from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Rehearsals and the parade had me tired enough to get a good nap in. Once I was back at the venue, it was go, go, go. I had hair and makeup done, just a few touch-ups to cement my hair in place since I would immediately begin to sweat and get red in the face when my performance began. The whole crew and my dancers and I got a chance to get into a final huddle before we headed to the stage.
Let's do this. 1, 2, 3, equality!
Stretch it out, dude.
The show was going to begin with me coming up from below the stage on a riser, which was timed to reach stage level by the time the downbeat hit of the first verse. There was no break from the DJ's performance to mine, so I really had to stay focused and listen to where the bass line of We Are the Night began, and then I began to count through 8 measures. It was nerve-wracking getting through this part, as if I messed up there would be no other cues to get me back on beat. But thankfully I stayed focused and made my entrance in the right place. I have to say, I have performed hundreds of shows all over the world by now. But I have to say, this experience here on stage with fully choreographed dancers, fireballs, thousands of people in the audience, it was more to take in than I could have imagined. For never doing a show like this before, I have to say I'm happy with how I did overall.
Sydney Mardi Gras, you guys are amazing! Thank you very much! I know!
In the days that followed, the weather was kind of all over the place. I didn't get the perfect beach day I was hoping for, as it was either raining or too windy or both, but I did get some poolside time in. I also got to take some beautiful walks up Bondi Beach and beyond. The wind made the waves huge. It was quite a sight to see. Overall, my trip to Sydney was a big success, and I certainly hope they have me back. Hint, hint. I'm still available for a lot of dates this year, so if you're a booking agent interested in having me perform or appear at your event, contact Linda at leftocenterproductions.com. And as always, I encourage all of you guys to follow me on bandsintown.com/SteveGrand to be notified when I and your other favorite artists are coming to your area. Thanks for all the love and support.
All right, now get out. I need to get back to work on my record.
I said